Kia ora, good morning everyone, Richard Wong here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to have a look at the LumeCube panel. So this is a LED light from LumeCube. I have been using it for a while, so in this video I'm going to talk about all the features, what I like and don't like about this LED light. This LumeCube panel is a bi-color LED light panel that is powered by a built-in rechargeable battery. The size is quite small. It's probably not the smallest LED light panel in the market. For example, let's see. Okay, I have that V-Light LED that I have reviewed recently. If you compare the size, you can see that this is quite a bit bigger than a lot of the LED panel in the market. But this is not really a bad thing because the bigger the light, then the softer the light effect is, and also usually the bigger the LED light, normally you can get it to be brighter than the smaller LED light, and this is definitely the case, but I will talk about it a little bit later. And while this is not the smallest LED light panel in the market, because it is actually quite slim, if you look at it from the side, you can see that it is actually very slim. The thickness is pretty much the same as most of the smartphones that we're using these days. Because of that, you can still easily fit it into your jean pocket or put it into a side pocket in your camera bag very easily. At the back of the light, you can see there is an OLED display here, display all those important information. While this OLED display looks very similar to the one on other LED light panel in the market, but if you look at it a little bit closer, you see that probably because LumeCube, they have some really clever font choice and also the icon design is very clever. They just make the display look a lot tidier and cleaner compared to the display on the other similar products. On the OLED display, you can see that there's a battery indicator at the top right, so you can see how many bars of battery is remaining, and then you can see the output power, which is in percent from minimum 5% all the way up to the maximum 100%, and then at the bottom you can see the color temperature output. As I mentioned at the beginning, this LED light is a bi-color LED light. You can adjust the color temperature from the lowest value, which is 3200 Kelvin, which is kind of like a yellowish white color, all the way up to 5600 Kelvin, which is the daylight balance color. But what I like the most is what is displayed on the top left here, which is the remaining battery runtime. So you can see exactly how long the battery can still last with the current settings. So right now it says there's a 7.7 hours remaining, and as I adjust the setting, if I increase the brightness, then the remaining time would be decreasing. So this is definitely a very good feature, even though it may not be very obvious at the beginning, because for example, if you are out there shooting an event and you are shooting video, you really want to see how long the battery life is remaining. If it tell you say 25 minutes, that is great because you know you can run for 25 minutes and you wouldn't just suddenly turn off the light. But for most of the LED light in the market, it will only display the battery level like there's 1 bar left, which could mean anything like 1 minute or 20 minutes. So being able to see how many hours or how many minutes that the battery can last would just make your life a lot easier, because you can now be sure that the light won't suddenly turn off in the middle of the event. And also, like in the case that the battery actually is running quite low, for example, it say you only got like 25 minutes left, but you know that you need to shoot for another 40 minutes, what you can do is that you can lower the brightness, and then you can see the runtime will increase, and then until it increase to give you enough runtime, then you can set it at that level and maybe make some adjustment to your camera setting, maybe crank up the ISO setting a little bit. This way you just have a lot more knowledge and a lot more control to make sure that the battery can last for the whole event that you are shooting. And to control the settings and operate the light is also very easy. There are only 3 buttons on the side here. The top button is for you to turn on and turn off the light. If you press it and hold it for a little while, then you will turn off. And if you press and hold the button again, then it will turn on the light. And then if you just quickly tap the button, then it will switch between the two different settings that you can adjust. One is the brightness level, and then one is the color temperature, and then you can use the two other buttons at the bottom to increase or decrease each of these settings. So the control is very easy, especially you have the OLED display here so that you can check the setting when you are adjusting it. So very easy to use. Even if I don't look at the light, I can still change the setting and just do everything I want very easily. For most of the LED light in the market, you normally only have one USB port there. So they either give you the micro USB port or the USB-C port for you to charge the battery on the LED light. But for this LumeCube panel, they have both the USB-C and the micro USB port, so you can use either type of the USB cable to charge the battery on this LumeCube panel. Oh, and the battery inside this LumeCube panel is pretty big. It's 4040 milliamp hour. The battery capacity is definitely quite a bit larger than most other similar product in the market. And actually, there are 3 USB port on the LumeCube panel. There is also a mini USB port here. And what it is that it allows you to use the LumeCube panel as a power bank to charge other devices. They have included a USB cable, which is this one here, so that you can just plug it into the mini USB port here. And then here you can connect to your normal USB cable, and then you can use it to charge your other devices. One thing that I don't really understand is why LumeCube has to provide this USB adapter. Why not just directly put this connector onto the device itself? Because if you look at it this way, it looks to me that even though I said the LumeCube panel is quite slim, but it seems like it's thick enough for you to just put the connector directly onto the device itself. If they do it this way, then you don't have to carry around this extra adapter cable, which means one less thing to carry around. So yeah, I don't really know why, and I would really prefer if they just make this USB connector directly onto the device itself. Another very nice design is that you can still turn on the light no matter you are using the LumeCube panel to charge another device or is being charged by an external USB power source. Most of this LED light is made of metals. It feels very solid and very well made. I don't really see any noticeable gap, and when I hold it on the hand, it feels very solid as well. But having said that, it definitely is not as solid as the LumeCube 2.0 or the original LumeCube, because with the LumeCube 2.0, that one is pretty much drop proof, shock proof, bomb proof, waterproof. While this one, I don't think it is waterproof because of all the exposed USB port here, and I probably don't want to drop it because I have a feeling if I drop it onto a solid ground, I would most likely damage this LED light. Okay, now we have talked quite a bit about the design, the feature, the build quality, and also the control of this LumeCube panel. What about the actual light from this LED panel? And I think there are two main things I want to talk about. The first thing is it is very, very bright. Even when I set the light to the minimum brightness, which is 5%, let me set it to 5%, and that is already very bright. If I'm in this room and I switch off all the lights and I just set it to 5%, it is bright enough that I can do everything with this light just at the 5%. I can read books, I can do everything. It is already very bright at the minimum brightness 5%. And according to LumeCube, the maximum brightness for the LumeCube panel is 1600 lux at 0.5 meter. So this is definitely very bright, because if you compare it to the LumeCube 2.0, which is already a very bright LED light, from memory, that light's maximum brightness is around 700 or 800 lux at 0.5 meter. So this one is double the brightness of the LumeCube 2.0. And let me show you a quick example. Now, I took this light and also the LumeCube 2.0 to outside my house at night, so all the lights are switched off out there. So this is what it looks like with all the lights in my garden turned off. It's pretty dark, and then I mounted the LumeCube 2.0 onto the hot shoe mount of the camera. The LumeCube 2.0 is quite bright and it light up the garden quite well. And now I switch to the LumeCube panel, and you can see the LumeCube panel is definitely a lot brighter than the LumeCube 2.0. And not only it is brighter, the light pattern is also quite a bit wider, so it covers a much bigger area. And also, if you look at the bottom, with the LumeCube 2.0, there is quite a bit of shadow cast near the center bottom of the frame, but with the LumeCube panel, there is no shadow at all. And second thing I want to talk about is if you use it to light up some people or object in close distance, the LumeCube panel can give you a pretty soft light compared to the smaller LED panel, or for example the LumeCube 2.0. And here is another example that I did the other day in this room. I turned off all the light in this room and just use a single LED light source. Though the first one I just used a LumeCube 2.0 mounted on top of the camera. If you look at my face, you can see that the light is a little bit harsh and there's quite a bit of hot spots. And if you look at the wall behind me, just underneath my ear, there is some pretty harsh and pretty sharp shadow on the wall. But when I switch out that light and put the LumeCube panel there, look at the wall behind me, you no longer see a very sharp shadow there. The shadow becomes a lot softer. So that tells you that the larger size of the LumeCube panel managed to give you a much softer, much more diffuse light output, especially when your subject is at a close distance. LumeCube says the battery life of this LumeCube panel is about 90 minutes if you run it continuously at full power. I did a quick test just to see how accurate that claimed battery life is, so I charge up the battery to 100% and then I turn on the light and at full power 100% and left it running to see how long the light can last. In the end, the light actually lasts a little bit more than 100 minutes when I have it running continuously at the full power. So that is definitely a little bit surprising, because not only it matches the factory claimed battery runtime, is actually a little bit more than that. So that is definitely very impressive, consider how bright the light is when you're running at the full power. And also another thing I noticed when I was doing the battery runtime test is after leaving the light running at full power for 100 minutes, the maximum temperature of the light is only 42 degrees Celsius. 42 degrees Celsius is a little bit warm, but it's definitely touchable and holdable. Compared it with the other LED light that I've used in the past, the temperature increase for this LumeCube panel is definitely quite a bit slower. There is one feature that I really like that is available on other LumeCube lights but not available on this panel, is the Bluetooth connectivity. The LumeCube panel, for some reason, there is no Bluetooth connectivity at all, and I don't really know the reason why is it. And that means I cannot use the LumeCube app to remotely control the light or put it in like a light mesh so I can control a group of light easily from the smartphone. That is definitely a feature that I really like when I was reviewing the other LumeCube product, but unfortunately it's missing from this LumeCube panel. There are quite a few different accessories that comes in the box with the LumeCube panel. You have a couple of different USB cable, you have a carry pouch, you also have a clip-on diffuser that you can clip on to here to diffuse the light a little bit, and you also have this connector that you can screw onto the bottom of the LumeCube panel so that you can mount the light onto the hot shoe mount of your camera. So pretty much all the accessory that you need already comes with the box, so you don't have to buy any extra accessories yourself. As a small LED light, there really isn't much that I can complain about this LumeCube panel. The design and build quality of this light is fantastic. It's a very bright light, and also because of the larger size, the light is also a bit softer than most of the those small LED light in the market. It comes with all the accessories that you probably needed, and also the more you use it, the more you notice that LumeCube just spend a lot of time and effort to make sure everything is designed as good as it probably could be. I found the LumeCube panel actually more versatile than I originally thought. For example, when I'm shooting some product shots, I can put it right in front of the product that I'm shooting to give me some field light. Even though it's very close to the product, but because of its small size, it wouldn't block my camera. So the only complaint I have is that it doesn't have Bluetooth connectivity, so that I can't do a remote control using the smartphone app. But that's a feature that probably not everyone would need. However, this LumeCube panel is not cheap at all. The price is around 150 US dollar. Definitely one of the more expensive LED light in the market. If you are looking for the best value for money lighting product in the market, then this LumeCube panel is probably not the best product for you. But on the other hand, if you want the best LED light in the market and don't mind paying a little bit extra for a more premium product, then you should check out this LumeCube panel, as this probably is the best portable LED light panel in the market right now.